Kobbie Mainoo has been one of Manchester United's best players so far this season, and I think without doubt he is one of the brightest sparks at the club and is a young talent that we are all incredibly excited about. One of the reasons we're so excited about him is because of his ability on the ball. His temperament, his composure, his scanning, his ability to receive on the turn, carry the ball, pass, be press resistant. He really does have a little bit of everything to his game. However, I would argue we haven't actually really seen that yet in the Manchester United first team. Now, of course, we have seen glimpses of it here and there. We've seen big moments, and I've done videos on that in the past. However, I think what we've seen more from Kobbie so far is the defensive side of his game. And that's actually backed up in this Data MB report here. Now, what we can notice here is that whilst his on-the-ball abilities may be his biggest strength, that hasn't really been shown at Manchester United so far, with his two areas where he ranks the best being his duel percentage and also his defensive actions. Now, that suggests that most of his work so far for the Manchester United first team has been doing defensive work. And in my opinion, he's been absolutely brilliant at doing that. Playing as the six, he's done some brilliant defensive work. However, I don't think that is his true position and his true game. I think he can be a good defensive player in the midfield, but I don't think he is a holding midfielder who wants to sit in the six and be a destroyer and be a ball winner. I don't think that's what he wants to do. And I also don't think that's what Erik Ten Hag wants him to do. Because Ten Hag said this about some of Kobbie Mainoo's strengths. When asked what impresses him the most about Kobbie Mainoo, he said, his scanning. It looks like he always has time because he is scanning, he is running free. Then he is scanning to see the options and then make the right decisions. He can delay, he can speed up, he makes the right decisions. Now, what is scanning? Scanning is essentially taking in information around you before you receive the ball perhaps, but also whilst you are in possession. So it's basically, let's say someone like Varane's got the ball here and Kobbie Mainoo is in this position. When he's off the ball, how much he's checking his shoulders, but it's not just a case of looking. It's a case of looking and actually, painting a picture of what's going on around you. You might be looking at where your teammates are, where open spaces are, but also where the opposition are. So let's say Kobbie Mainoo scans here, looks over his shoulder, and sees that this player is coming in from this side. Because he has scanned well, he knows that when he receives the ball, he needs to take his touch to the other side. So good scanning, taking in that information, has allowed him to turn the opposition player and move forward from there. So that is something that Kobbie Mainoo is really good at. However, I would argue we don't see that, to its full capacity when you play in the 6 position. And the reason for that is because the 6 often plays outside of the opposition structure. So most teams will be compact in midfield with some sort of 3, it might be a 2, it might be a 4 even. But they tend to be quite compact in the centre of the pitch. Of course, football teams have always done that. But this means that on the ball and in possession, a 6 for a side often plays outside of that pressure. Most things are often in front of them. You can see the whole pitch, you can see the whole picture. It's quite easy for you to get the ball and move it about. You're not receiving with your back to goal and things like that. So therefore, I don't feel as though we are seeing the true skill set of Kobbie Mainoo. What did I say he's great at? He's great at scanning, and Erik Ten Hag agrees. But also, he's great at receiving the ball on the turn, under pressure, showing press resistance. This role that he is currently playing simply doesn't really ask him to do that. For example, we've seen games this season where he drops deep, plays in between the centre-backs. Now, particularly in this role, we don't see his skill set at all because we don't see his ability to drop a shoulder. We don't see his true scanning capabilities. We don't see his ball carrying ability. We don't see any of that skill set. So, how can we see more of that? We need a role change. So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order. Now the change that I would like to see is more of a ball-winning midfielder being brought in alongside Kobbie Mainoo, so that could well be Casemiro. Now from here you can have a double pivot with Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro playing alongside each other, but importantly I want Kobbie to be given the license to receive a little bit higher up the pitch. So now let's go back to what was happening before. So let's say Kobbie is our deepest midfielder, Casemiro pushes a little bit higher. Kobbie's got simple forward passes in front of him. Casemiro's looking to receive with his back to goal on the half turn. Doesn't work, it doesn't make sense. Swap them around though, and now Casemiro is deeper. Kobbie Mainoo is a little bit higher. Now we get to see Kobbie Mainoo receiving with his back to goal, with his back to play, but also using that scanning ability. So Casemiro, who simply, isn't as good as scanning and assessing what's around him, has the easier role because, there's not too many players behind him. Most things are in front of him, and we know he's good when he plays in that way. So he has a slightly simplified role in possession to get more out of Kobbie Mainoo, because now Kobbie Mainoo can use his scanning ability. He can assess these situations. He can take the ball in tight spaces and move the ball forward. And there were plenty of examples of this, in the academy, where truthfully, he was absolutely brilliant at ball carrying. Now he used his physical prowess in these situations, but also, of course, his technical ability. And he done this in all different areas of the pitch, but we can see here, he's got a 6 behind him, someone playing a little bit deeper, allowing Kobbie to move a little bit higher and giving a bit more freedom. This is not the positions you would expect a true 6 to pick up, really, but he's confident carrying the ball forward, striding forward into these advanced areas, taking players on. On this occasion, he makes a fool of the defender, dancing past both of them, moving forward before then playing this forward pass. This isn't something we've really seen Kobbie do once, I don't think, since moving into the first team. Now, it has to happen more. There has to be a change here because he is so good at doing this. I think he is the only player in the Manchester United squad capable of doing this on a regular basis. So he's got 3 players around him, the ball comes into him quickly, and he operates in tight spaces. The first touch with his left foot, showing that he's comfortable with the ball on either foot. Then the second touch with the right foot to burst forward and stride past these 3 midfielders. And again, he makes an absolute fool of them. He drives past them, he rides a really strong, tough tackle here, which was realistically a foul. Kobbie Mainoo drives through them. It's absolutely brilliant. And then he's got also the pass at the end of it. This is a brilliant pass through to the forward. But again, if he was restricted to a deep midfield position, we would never see this. I think he needs to be freed up a little bit with his positioning because we can see he's just so good at it. And this clip I'm going to let play out a little bit because this is just absolutely brilliant. We don't normally do this, but the play here from Kobbie Mainoo is just so good. He's so comfortable. Again, this doesn't represent what we expect a holding midfielder to do. That's absolutely phenomenal. And there's really not many players in the current Manchester United side that can do that. So in my opinion, if Erik ten Hag wants to take Kobbie Mainoo to the next level, he should move him a little bit into more of an 8 position. Now, I do wonder if the reason he's been kept in a deeper position for now is to simplify his game a little bit. A young player coming into the team, keep your game nice and simple, reduce mistakes, and you're going to build your confidence. I would like to see a world, though, where he's built his confidence, then he is given the freedom to move further forward, because he could bring something to this Manchester United side which it completely lacks, and that is ball carrying in the centre of the pitch, an ability to carry the ball forward, stride forward, and drive forward through the pitch, to also be press resistant, receiving the ball under pressure and then turning. And of course, we've also seen that he can move the ball forward in the final third. Now, for Kobbie to really make this work, we probably need to see an uppage in his creative output. He needs to be a little bit more creative in the final third than what he showed in the academy. But of course, this is still an incredibly young player with, the future ahead of him. He's got plenty of time to develop in this area. If he could do that, there is potential here for Kobbie Mainoo to be one of the best 8s in world football. I think as a number 6, he's a great player who could become, a really good footballer, but maybe not that top bracket. As an 8, in 6 years' time, he could be one of the best on the planet. I genuinely do believe that because he is so good. Now, of course, as I've said all the way through Kobbie Mainoo, it's all about, development, getting a little bit of luck with injury, having the right mentality, being in a good environment. He's not guaranteed to succeed at the football club. But I do think if you want to give him the best opportunity to really thrive and really take this United team to a different level, I think his role is as the 8, with Casemiro behind him, a little bit deeper, Kobbie Mainoo given the licence to carry the ball forward, to move the ball forward, and be progressive in a way no other Manchester United player is. Casemiro doesn't carry the ball this well. Christian Eriksen certainly doesn't. Bruno Fernandes certainly doesn't. Scott McTominay does on occasion, but, he's not as press resistant. And also Mason Mount, he can do it, but not to the level which Kobbie Mainoo can. Kobbie Mainoo moving to this 8 position could really work. It also is going to reduce the amount of defensive work that he does. Currently, if we take Casemiro back out of the side and put McTominay in, currently Kobbie Mainoo is covering so much space out of possession by himself. Now, like I've said already, he's doing a good job of doing that. We can see it using this data MB graph. By the way, if you want to get data MB, there will be a link in the description down below. It's a great website to compare different players, make graphs like this. Highly recommend you check it out, so definitely do that, link in the description. But we can see how well he is doing this defensive work, but I just don't think it's what he wants to do in the long term. Moving him alongside a ball-winning midfielder, someone who will help him with the defensive work, could really see you unlock something special in the second half of the season. And it could be what Ten Hag needs to get his side back on track. Erik Ten Hag loves problem solvers on the ball, and Kobbie Mainoo is exactly that. Imagine him in a Frenkie de Jong-esque sort of role. You know, with a Thiago-like body shape in the way that he uses his body, but with a Frenkie de Jong-esque mindset in the way that he wants to dribble, move the ball forward on the carry on a regular basis. Moving him into the 8 position is the way to do that, and that is what I would like Erik Ten Hag to do in the second half of the season, moving into next season as well. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think Kobbie Mainoo's long-term future is as a 6 or as an 8 or perhaps in a double pivot? Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, let me know what sort of player you think we should sign to play alongside him. All of that in the comments down below. Also, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you could, please. We're trying to hit 22,000 subscribers by the end of the month. We're getting there, but we need one last big push, so that would be greatly appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.